The animal kingdom is a really strange place. You might think we're home only to annoying animals and declare true love for others, but in truth, all sorts of critters live on our planet. A lot of people don't really understand what the difference between these classes of animal is, and this can lead to some chaotic situations. James White is a perfect example. The Californian man had a peaceful fishing trip in 2019 until he faced one of those 10-foot pole animals. He fought back the creature, unaware that an unlikely ally was watching the scrap. Rohnert Park, California, resident James White has a knack for fishing. At least he thought he did. But that all changed when what was supposed to be an easy day of casting off in the Pacific proved to be much more hair-raising. James settled into a spot by the shore at Bodega Bay, an area not far from San Francisco that appeared to be tame and quiet. As he expected, the morning started out slow, but then he felt a tug on his line. Grasping his fishing rod firmly in his hand, James felt that long-awaited pull, but strangely, it was more aggressive than usual. It was so vigorous, in fact, that the burly fisherman struggled to reel in the catch. White told NBC Bay Area that this went on for a staggering 10 minutes. "The only way I think I was able to get the line back is because it was swimming towards me," James said of the encounter. While James pulled with all his might, he caught a glimpse of the aquatic creature as it got closer to the shallows. Still yanking on his sturdy fishing rod, the wire taut, James' eyes widened with utter shock. The fisherman was hauling in a 6-foot-long 7-gill shark. Cue the Jaws music. Clearly not having been in the best headspace, James tried removing the hook from the shark's mouth. It didn't go well. Reacting impulsively to James' approach, the predator immediately sunk his teeth into James' bare, vulnerable ankle. The water soon turned a crimson hue, and James was beyond scared. He could tell the shark had done serious damage. The teeth in their 7-gill sharks' upper jaws are sharp and jagged, which they use to hold onto prey. No doubt James felt a good number of them sinking into his leg and refusing to let go. "The first bite punctured an artery," he told NBC Bay Area. The pressure was intense. In that moment, a panicked James desperately cried out for help, hoping a nearby fisherman would come to his rescue. No person heard him. However, James White was the owner of a then 1-year-old 100-pound pit bull named Darby. The dog loved James very much, and he'd do anything to protect him, even if that meant facing off against a giant ocean predator.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
And while James was gone fishing, the silver and white doggo was left to relax in the nearby car. Darby hung out of the open windows and contently watched from afar until he heard a distressed James yell for help. He sprang into action. Once he reached James and the shark, Darby's initial instinct was to bite the shark's gills. That only made the enormous toothy fish angrier as it gnawed deeper into James' damaged ankle. His blood continued to flood the water. When James realized Darby's well-intended interference was only making things worse, he scolded him, having told him to back off. This didn't stop the pooch though, as he knew his beloved James was in trouble. Darby had a plan B. Darby repositioned and grabbed it by the tail. "He literally ran up the hill with it and pulled it off my leg," the traumatized California resident explained to NBC Bay Area. James then flung the shark back into the Pacific. James felt closer to sweet Darby, who fully embraced the honorable title of man's best friend, James told reporters. "He's been a part of the family from day one, just now a little more." To James' surprise, the public's reaction was a bit more complicated. He absolutely could have been a lot worse off, especially considering 7-gill sharks can weigh up to 230 pounds and reach roughly 10 feet in length. James was lucky. Too lucky, in fact, if you asked people who heard his story. Because while James could barely believe the insanity that just occurred, neither could anyone else. No, really, people were suspicious of James' extraordinary tale of shark versus dog. The whole thing sounded fishy. The first time I told somebody this, they were like, "You're out of your mind, there's no way that happened." James White said of his friend's literal disbelief. But he had proof that this was no fish tale. When James showed off his gnarly battle scars and photographic evidence, however, said friend was stunned. We're sure the shark attack survivor wore a proud smirk following his pal's shocked expression. James' bond with Darby is forever solidified. Thanks to the mighty pit bull hero, James White still has 2 legs. And to support his story, there are plenty of other stories about pit bulls, despite their controversial reputation, stepping up in life or death moments. I hope you like this video. Please share it and subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.